Hey, thanks for joining us today. We are here at the North 9 in Valley City, North Dakota. We're about to go through how to throw away the oil once you've already filtered it beyond its life. And also we're going to go right into the boil out procedure so that all of you going forward know how to boil it out, how to soak it through the night and flush it out in the morning. Stay tuned. All right, so when you're throwing the oil away, you don't need the paper filter inside the pad pan. So you can see here it's empty. All we're going to do is put the pad pan handle inside, lock it in place. We're going to stick it inside the filtration machine like normal, put the basket in, and we're ready to start washing this fryer out. Power is important for this machine. Just screw it in place. You don't want to over tighten it because once it expands from the heat, it makes it really difficult to get out. All right, so you see this thing moves up and down? That's to reduce splatter, okay? Now we're going to turn it off so there's no flame going. Open the ball valve. Don't forget to lock your wheels down. Okay. We don't have to worry about filter blinding because we do not have a paper in there right now. So just like regular filtering operation, we're going to start flushing the fryer out, getting all the debris out. Going to set that in there for a second. Can you grab me a sheet pan, please? All right, now you want to make sure you put rubber gloves on inside of your heat protective gloves. You don't ever want to grab hot metal with these gloves, meaning the rack that sits inside here, the hanger that hangs over here. You don't want to touch that with these. It dries them out and makes them crack. Okay, you're fine with holding the handle or holding the green pad to do scrubbing. All right, so I'm just going to continue rinsing. Try to get as much debris out as we can. And because we are about to do a boil out, I'm not going to worry about doing the scrub on it right now. So I'm going to turn this off. Turn the wand upside down. Store it safely without spilling a drop. Okay. Close the ball valve. Turn this up out of the way. Can you have it? Perfect, thank you. I always keep a towel right here so that I can wipe my gloves or wipe off anything that I need to wipe while I'm working. I'm going to slide this back. Lock the door down. Unlock my wheels. And then I'm going to use my rag for winding up my cord. Why? Because you don't want to have grease and crap all over the equipment. we're going to show. Okay. Now we're going to show you how we throw the oil away once you're done with it. Follow me. Yes, this is ice we're walking on, folks. Plug it in. Grab your wand. Come around here. Be careful of the ice. Turn it to the right, which is your oil out, and start pumping the oil out. See it coming out of there? That's it. Just keep pumping until it's out, and then we'll take it back inside, do the other fryer. All right, guys, I want to show you something here. You see all this extra grease and stuff that's on top of these doors? If you wipe that off when it happens, it dries out, it comes off quickly. See in the bottom of this door, the bottom of here? If you do that, every time you do this quickly, it took me, what, 4.5 seconds to do that? It doesn't build up and it doesn't get nasty, okay? What we're gonna do now is we're gonna show you how to fill up this fryer, add the boil out, and let it soak a bit while we drain the next fryer. All right, so you just grab a 5-gallon bucket, start adding the water. You want to add the packet of boil out before you heat up that water, unless you want a really bad mess in your hands. All right, so you just take this and sprinkle it around in here. Just distribute it evenly. Okay, we just filled it up to the top oil fill line with water. We already have our boil out inside there. We're gonna add the grate that goes in here so it can soak in the boil out. And we're gonna add the top part that looks like this in there to soak. In a little bit, we're gonna heat it up. I'm not gonna heat it up yet because we got one more fryer to drain. We're gonna heat it up, give it a little bit of scrub, and then we're going to turn it off and let it soak all night long. Okay? Prior to doing that, leaving for the night, we'll fill it up so that the water is over this shelf so that everything can soak through the night. Okay? And then in the morning, it's basically just an easy wipe out because it's been soaking all night long. No, you don't have to do a bunch of scrubbing and a bunch of elbow grease. Let it soak overnight during your downtime, and it wipes out easy and rinses in the morning. All right, so now that we've thrown the oil away, it's time to wash up our pad pan and our basket. So all we do to safely do that operation, we take the basket, put it on the pan. Take the pad pan, put it on the pan. Carla, if you'll come around here, I want to show them how little oil is now left in the bottom of this machine. See that, guys? That is how little should be in there. If you guys look down after you take the pad pan out and you got a 1/2 inch of oil in there, or there's oil making it all the way to the back of the machine, you didn't pump that out enough, which means you got impatient, decided you had a date to get to, and didn't want to do your job. So, if there's more oil in there than what's in there right now, you're messing up. All right, just letting you know right now. This is simple. You literally take this basket, it's dry shake in there. You turn it over, you give it a little tap. You don't have to beat the bejesus out of this thing on the side of the garbage can. Give it a little tap, it'll come out. Then you bring it over here, and we're gonna give it a little rinse. See that, guys? If your date can't wait that long, you're with the wrong woman. You hear me? All right. This is simple too. Take it out, give a little rinse. Rinse it till it's debris free, no more crap on there. Boom. Grab the pan. Do the same thing. Give a little rinse. I'm guessing that's somewhere around 2.5 minutes to do that operation. What would you say, Carla? Pretty quick?
Yep.
All right. So 2.5 minutes. If you don't have 2.5 minutes during your closing to do this, find a different job. Runs through the dishwasher, comes out, dries overnight, ready to use the next day. Any questions? Hope not, because that was super simple. All right, guys, all we want to do is turn this on until you hit about 200, okay? We're gonna let it heat up, get that water boiling a little bit. Once it starts circulating, I'm gonna do a little light scrub with the green pad and some tongs, and then we're going to turn them off, let it soak overnight, and then you'll see in the morning it's just a wipeout. All right, so if you've been spending 45 minutes to an hour doing boil out, you're doing it wrong. You're wasting man hours, you're wasting sweat equity, and it's unnecessary. Plus, if you're trying to do boil out in the same night you put boil out in, you're not gonna get it near as clean as if you soak overnight. All right, we're back here the following morning after doing the pre-boil out procedures for these fryers. I'm gonna take the cover of this off. You're gonna see that it is gonna be steaming slightly because the pilot light still runs through the night, okay? What I want you to do is look down here. We're gonna turn this on to about, just until the flame comes on. We're gonna start heating this up, and while that's heating, we're gonna take our tongs and our green scrub pad. You can take the whole pad, fold it over, fold it again, and now you can scrub. If you'll bring the camera in here and show, I can literally scrub using this green pad and the tongs without any fear of getting myself burned, wet, making a mess. And look at all that crap coming off of there because we let it soak all night. All right? That's the problem with trying to do boil out the same day that you put the boil out in the fryer. It doesn't have time to work, and there's not a boil out on the planet that I know of that will allow you to just simply put it in the fryer and it completely dissolves all the oil off, okay? So we're giving that a little scrub on all surfaces, and then we're gonna let it heat up and soak a little bit longer. All right, we're gonna let that soak for a bit. I always keep a cookie sheet handy so that I can take hot, wet stuff and put it right on there. I don't worry about getting it on the floor and making a mess. If you got a garbage can handy, just pull it over to you and you got a workstation, okay? All right, while you're waiting for this to heat up and start boiling, you can take the drain pipe and go ahead and put it on the fryer, keeping an eye on that boil out. You see how it's starting to really get angry? Just turn it down slightly until that flame goes off and it'll start to subside, okay? But you still want to do it, you only want to turn it enough for the flame to kick off and you'll hear it click, okay? So put this in, you can get your bucket under there and ready. Now that's had a little bit of time. Oh, and in the meantime, I've started the other one so it can start heating up too. But in the meantime, now that that is already starting to really percolate, I am going to do a little bit more scrubbing. And after I go around this time, I'm going to let some of this water out so I can see what I'm really working with as far as the buildup on the sides and what kind of progress we're making getting that off of there. Okay. Just slightly open the ball valve. You only want to let it drain down until you can see the buildup that was on the sides. Okay, see how we got a clean mark and a dirty mark? That's the level the water was soaking at all night. So we have to scrub above that line to get the rest of it off. And if you have buildup like this, zoom in on that. You got, see now this is where it was soaking. It's nice and clean. Here it is dirty. Maybe next time we do the boil out, we fill the water up a little bit higher so that it can soak higher and get more of that higher stuff off of there. But as far as where the really bad buildup was yesterday, all that black is gone. I can't stress enough how important doing this properly is, because whatever you leave in this fryer is going to end up in a customer's food. I want you to think about that. What goes in here comes out on food. Okay? So make sure that you do your best job. It's starting to bubble over, so we're going to turn it down. It'll go down. All right? So this is a project where you have to be able to do a little bit of multitasking, watching the other fryer, watching this fryer, make sure nothing boils over, and controlling the heat. It's not rocket science, but you want to make sure you do a good job. Okay? Would you want to go to a restaurant and have this ending up on your food? I bet you don't. So make sure we get this all out of here. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and start emptying the remnant or remaining parts of this fryer. You don't have to open it all the way with that straight pipe. If you open it all the way, it's going to splash everywhere. Okay? And don't fill the bucket all the way, because you're going to have to slightly tip it to get it out of here. And it doesn't make any sense to be carrying damn near steaming temperature water over there to dump it and burn yourself. All right, you see what we put in here last night? Remember, you'll be able to remember on the video how filthy it was. It's clean as a whistle now because it got to soak. Okay? Now the same thing will happen with the rest of the higher parts of the fryer when we boil it out next time and fill the water level higher to soak overnight. Okay? So I'm going to take this over here. Remember, see, slight tilt. Take the bucket out. Okay, remember you got your trusty pan here, so now we can start taking this stuff out without making a mess. And even though this has been soaked all night, we're still going to run it through the dishwasher like we're supposed to do every night when you do your filtering. Okay, so I'm just going to set this off to the side. Okay, at this location, we have the floor tilts to the back. So in order to get all of the water out and do the same thing when you're filtering oil, is we are going to grab the back of this using something to protect yourself and just lean the fryer forward a bit and get the last of the debris out of the bottom, okay? Now we're going to take our fresh water and start flushing our fryer. Okay, KD, will you look in there with the camera and show that it's debris free down in the bottom? Okay, so now we're going to do a little bit more rinsing, and then we're going to do a little bit of rinse with white vinegar in order to, okay, this is important, guys. We're going to rinse this a little bit with white vinegar. Reason being, the white vinegar is the opposite pH balance or value of the acid that's in the boil out. If you do not neutralize it with the vinegar, and there's remnants of some of that boil out in here, not only is it going to break down the oil, but who wants to eat acid? All right? Remember, the pilot light is still on this fryer, so it's going to be slightly warm, but don't let it panic you, okay? White vinegar. Just grab a cup, pour the vinegar in there. And just go around the edges of the fryer like so. And rinse it down. We got the ball valve closed because we're going to put more water back inside here. Yeah, yeah, thanks. All right, that should be enough of the vinegar. We're going to get some more water in here, swish it around, make sure that vinegar water mixture hits every surface. I'm going to take a clean rag with the vinegar water and wipe it around to make sure we got all the acid out of here. Okay, we've got our water, our clean water. Now, there's going to be times when you're only boiling out one of these at a time. So you want to make sure that you're pretty careful with it. You're not splashing water all the way into the other one that might have fresh oil in it. I hope that you put a sheet pan over it if there is good oil in there so you don't get any cross contaminants, but we'll just hope against hope. All right, so I'm gonna take my clean rag. I have my now vinegar water in there. I'm just gonna take the vinegar water and wipe it down. Okay, it's not a scrub, guys. It's just wiping down the surfaces to make sure we got all that acid neutralized in here. And yes, it's going to be warm, but unless you're wearing a diaper, you should be able to handle it. okay? It's not hot, it's not gonna burn you, it's just warm. You can really smell that vinegar in there. And guys, I'm doing this even while hating the smell of vinegar. There's a lot of things you're going to do in life that you don't like to do, but they have to be done. And this is definitely one of them. I don't mean to give life lessons on this video, but I've been in this industry long enough to know that if employees or people in general can find an easy way not to do something, they won't. All right, guys, so in order to rinse the fryer with the vinegar, we're going to show you an easier way to do it, okay? I'm going to go ahead and just put hot water in here. Add two cups of white vinegar. We're going to fill this up about 3/4 of the way. All right, now that'll give you enough vinegar to water concentration to be able to rinse the fryer using this solution in order to neutralize the acid inside the boil out. Okay, so do the same procedure that you saw in the video earlier, only using it in the water solution instead of straight concentration out of the cup. Okay, and that's all right, guys, this should be the final water that we need. And to just make sure that I can get it rinsed well, I'm going to grab a smaller bucket that I can really rinse the sides with. And if you don't have a smaller bucket, you can use a pitcher, you can use a glass, you can use something that holds liquid, okay? But you want to be able to just rinse those sides good. Or for the grammatically correct, rinse the sides well. Okay, now we're going to take our rag that's slightly damp so it cushions us from the heat. Get a look in there, see how clean it is at the bottom. That's a sexy fryer right there. I would eat food out of that fryer. Okay, so now we're going to just leave the ball valve open for a bit, let it drip anything that is left in the ball valve out, and move on to the next fryer. Guys, the next fryer is the exact same operation as this one. The fact that it's on the left doesn't mean that it's done differently than the one that we just did on the right. Okay, I'm going to take a dry towel, dry this out. We're going to fill it with oil and be ready to start cooking for the day. I hope that you learned from this video. If you have any questions, ask somebody else. I'm just kidding. If you have questions, talk to your manager and they'll give me a call. All right? I hope you have a great day and happy boil out. And then when you're done with your filtration process and everything you're doing, all you do is put your gloves back on. Take a little bit of Dawn or Judy or Kelly or whoever and wash your hands like normal, okay? Just like you're washing your hands. Try not to get water down inside the gloves. You don't want it to get all musty. All right, give them a good scrub, rinse them. Let them dry and you're good. Let me show you what happens when you don't do that. You see between my fingers here how the gloves have already started to deteriorate? That's because they hadn't been washed. They start to get crispy. Somebody also decided they were going to clean the grill with it, JEFF, and got them all hot and crusty, and actually cut into the gloves with the grill brick. These are only used for filtration of the fryers while using the Zico oil filtration machine. They're not for looking cool and glow in the dark at raves. They are not for cleaning grills or picking up hot pans. They are not for doing gardening. They are only for filtering oil. Thank you. Have a lovely day.